Before the sun comes up, a convoy rolls into the cemetery. The flashing lights cut through the morning fog, signaling that a closed case is about to be forcibly reopened by court order. A legal burial exhumation is a highly structured, multidisciplinary scientific protocol. It requires a diverse team of specialists to safely transition a gravesite back into an active investigation. Courts only trigger this extreme measure when serious red flags emerge. Investigators might suspect hidden evidence of a homicide, uncover extensive insurance fraud, or find glaring anomalies in the victim's initial postmortem. The moment that judge signs the exhumation order, the site converts into an active vault of biological and physical evidence. But before a single shovel strikes the earth, investigators must navigate the informational layers of the case in the archives. They conduct a rigorous historical review to build a predictive model of what they expect to find in the ground. They start by tracking down specific data points. They need the exact circumstances of death, the stated cause of death, and crucially, the identity of the judicial medical officer who performed the first postmortem. They also have to track down the original funeral directors to answer one specific question: was the body embalmed? Those chemicals actively alter the tissue, and pathologists need to know exactly what biological baseline they are dealing with. Without building this historical baseline first, any physical anomalies discovered underground lack the legal context required to hold up in a courtroom. On the morning of the dig, a multidisciplinary team converges on the site. You have the Criminal Investigation Department, judicial medical officers, government analysts, and specialized labor crews all arriving at once. Their first physical hurdle is verifying the precise location of the target remains. In standard plots, this takes a few minutes. But in post-disaster scenarios or with unmarked sites, it becomes an intense logistical challenge. This photograph of a mass burial trench shows the scale of the operation and the overlapping placement of the bodies. Recoveries like this require complex mapping of multiple layers before any actual digging starts. To pinpoint specific remains from the surface without disturbing the soil, the team uses a specialized technological toolkit. They deploy ground-penetrating radar, metal detectors, and highly trained cadaver dogs to map out the anomalies beneath their feet. They are also looking for specific visual anomalies on the surface. Here, you can see a distinct soil mound that has settled differently than the surrounding earth, marked clearly with a verification tag. Locating the exact perimeter relies on reading the Earth's memory. Whenever the soil is deeply disturbed, it leaves a measurable scar. Once the perimeter is set, the laborers start the physical excavation. But there is a strict operational rule they must follow. They have to expose more than 50% of the remains before any extraction begins. During this process, the depth and position of the site are continuously measured. This data generates a precise, three-dimensional map for the legal record. At this critical depth, there is a strict transfer of power inside the trench. The laborers step back, and the forensic pathologist takes full control of the physical recovery. From here, it becomes a highly delicate manual process of brushing away the final layers of soil. In this image, you can see numbered forensic markers placed directly next to the skeletal structures, documenting everything precisely as it lays. Notice the distinct separation of the bones in the dirt. This dictates the mandatory isolation protocol. Every specific anatomical area, the hand, the forearm, the upper arm, must be separated and placed into its own strictly tracked evidence bag. When multiple overlapping bodies are discovered in the same space, investigators apply a rigid sequential numbering system, labeling each one SK1, SK2, and so on. This keeps the chain of custody intact during transport. This slow, piece-by-piece extraction is necessary to ensure the remains can withstand the pressure of defense cross-examination in court. The investigation leaves the cemetery and moves into the sterile environment of a modern forensic laboratory. Here, the sealed evidence bags are finally opened. Specialized pathologists and anthropologists take over this phase. By examining the cleaned bones, they start reconstructing a precise timeline of the trauma the victim endured. They run toxicology panels, conduct X-rays, and scrutinize every inch of bone. Look at this recovered skull. A physical scale provides exact measurements, and an orange arrow points to a crucial area, indicating potential blunt force trauma. Under the microscope, these physical anomalies provide data points that can challenge or clarify the official history recorded in the original files. Ultimately, the narrative shifts to the final arena, the courtroom, where the exhumed evidence is presented to a jury. It is the rigid adherence to protocol, from the tedious historical reviews to the separate bagging of individual bones, that gives a decomposed body its legal weight. Strict adherence to these protocols allows the past to be reconstructed with enough precision to change the trajectory of a criminal trial